Every haunting has a beginning and an end, but in this place, one becomes the other. Step closer, the lantern's glow will guide you. What you are about to hear are true stories of hauntings all over the world. Welcome to Help, I'm Haunted. Hello there, my darlings. Welcome to Season 2, Help, I'm Haunted. And I was thinking today, maybe I need to rename this Help, I'm Always Haunted. I've got more stories to tell than, as they say, Carter has liver pills. Welcome to the Bayou. That's where we're going tonight. And thank you so much for being here. It is Thursday, May the 28th at 7 p.m. Eastern. And you're watching Help, I'm Haunted. And first of all, I want to thank each and every one of you for being here. I want to thank my beautiful mods. When you see me look this way, that's where StreamYard has the chat. And you know what? I can put that on the screen. So if you're watching on TV, you can really see what everybody's saying. So thank you for being here. And I also want to thank you so much for really embracing the new exclusive content over on True Oracle, Lady Zelda's Forbidden Files. And I'll tell you what, I'm digging those out of the archives. I'm definitely digging them out of the archives. I haven't seen some of these cases in a long time. And I'll tell you what, it has been something else to read these stories again, because, you know, every time, even now, if I get one of these dicey, dodgy, scary, you know, I get dicey, dodgy every time. But dicey, dodgy, scary story. Why do you think I have all the journals? Why do you think I have all the journals? Thank you so much. And I want to thank you around the world for coming in. A lot of you watch the replay, and I'm so thankful for you. Thank you, and for supporting us and being here. So thank you. Oh, thank you, my darlings. Listen, it is a hair up day because it has been raining here for days, and I tried flat ironing, and it's like fuzz. So this has been my look for a few days, and when I'm home, I don't really wear my hair down anyway. I always, you know, whatever, put her up anyhow. So why not? Why not? Thank you so much. Thank you, my darlings. You're so kind. So tonight we're going to go to the Bayou, and I hope that you got to, if you got to see the video that explained the first part of this story on True Oracle. It's called I Read Cards for a Zombie. Please put a 1 in the chat. And wow, look at this, watching. Good morning to you. Good morning, my darling. Watching from Nassau, Bahamas. I love the Bahamas. Thank you very much. But I would just go there to gamble. That's what I would do. I'm not a beach person. Take me to the casino. Good, you watched the story. Some of you didn't get a chance to. So I'm going to recap it just in case. But after this is over, I will put the link to that story in the comments or in the description and pin it. So you can go there and watch it first. It's a creepy story. And are the crickets too loud? Is the background too loud? Let me know. Yes or no. You can put Y or N. Is the background to is it too loud? Because I don't want it competing with sounds. I can tell. Okay. Here comes, thank you so much, my darlings. Here comes Paranormal Petey. Just a second. Come on, buddy. Come on. Come on, it's okay. All right. All right, good. But first comes first. I have to sing happy birthday to a few people. And happy birthday to Bev and her son-in-law, Jeff. And then we had another person, and I didn't even see that. I just saw it go by real quickly. And let me see if I can find out. If your birthday was yesterday, whoever put that in the comments, please let me know. Please let me know. Okay, here we are. Okay, this is Sweet Paranormal Petey. You see this? Listen, he knows. He knows he's good looking. He's just like any man who knows he's good looking. He does. Listen. He sits around. I know I'm talking about you. He sits around. No. I have to be careful because he's a nibbler. He sits around and he poses. Like, he knows. This is Ian's cat. If Ian walks out, you'll know it because this little head will just whip around. Okay, Rachel, it was you, my darling. Okay. So let's sing happy birthday. First of all, I got to get my little balloons out here. Hello, where are they? Here we go. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Bev and Jeff. Happy birthday to you. And many more. Here it comes for Rachel. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Rachel. Happy birthday to you. There you go. And many more. Indeed. And my voice is still crumbly because it's allergy season and I take everything. Don't worry about it. It'll be okay. Here we are, my darlings, in the bayou. I do need to turn it down just a hair. Just a little hair. Let me see. There we go. That's better. Oh, Lisa, how sweet is that? Mm-hmm. All right. This little co-host is Paranormal Petey, and look how he poses on me. Right, I know. I'm talking about you. Big man. All right. Happy birthday, everyone. And I saw the mister in here. Hello, my darling. Thank you for being here. All right. This started out, and as you know, you've heard me tell it many, many times, the story of when I was in New Orleans, however you want to say that, okay? I was there with some friends, and the idea was, hey, Zell, I'm going to go meet an author and a vampire. And I'm thinking, oh, is that a joke? I mean, a rabbit and a priest walk into a bar, right? And he's like, no, you're coming with me. So a bunch of us went down. One was my German friend. You know him, Herbie. He was in the Niagara Falls Museum from last season. So, my darlings, we went to New Orleans. And back then, no internet, no. And you know what? I think those are the best stories. Well, you didn't have internet. You didn't have any of that stuff, right? You just didn't have it. No cell phones. You went. If you had to make a phone call, well, daggone. Nollins? Okay. Okay. I'll do it. All right. If you needed to make a phone call, you needed to get a payphone, or you needed to stop by the hotel you were staying at. Okay. You know, when you live it, it's not such a big deal. Now, and back then, I think I might have had an ATM card. So we all roll down to New Orleans, whatever. It's beautiful down there. But you know, the areas that I went in, and yes, Zelda was not in the best area, but I still loved it. So we were in the historic district, and of course we went to Cafe du Monde, and we had the best coffee. Nobody, don't pick my sweater. We had the best coffee and the best beignets going. We're sitting there eating, and of course, Anne Rice is at the table. She's wanting to talk to these vampires. She's wanting to write another book. You know that story, and I don't have to go into it. But that set the vibe. So we got done, and I was approached by one of these people, but Herbie saw this man who was over looking at me. He said, "Still, he's looking at you, and you know what? He doesn't look the best. He looks like he might be ill." Well, I looked over at him, and my darlings, I'm just going to tell you, you know the program, The Walking Dead? But you know, when you're in New Orleans, Nollins, right? Wherever. When you're there in that beautiful historic city, the locals say Nollins. You have it correct. New Orleans. Yes. Okay. Nollins. Well, I'm far from a local, but I'll do whatever. So he goes to Herbie and passes Herbie a note. And kind of just gives him the high sign that he wants it to come to me. We go, take a look at this, and he says, "I need you to meet me at 11:30 p.m. That should have been my warning sign right there. Hello, but no, oh no, not me. So went there, he says, and it was some tavern somewhere on one of these back streets. Old, dark, scary. You know, that's just the way it was. Something that only the locals would know about. Pardon me. And hello to everybody coming in. So something only the locals would know about. So it's 11:27 p.m. Louisiana time. We go in, and I see this guy sitting there. And he kind of makes a gesture, and his gestures are real slow. Okay. So he makes this gesture. Come over, and Herbie and the rest of them said, "Look, we're just going to sit over here. We'll have a beverage or two. You do what you need to do." And I always took my cards, no matter, even to this day, I take my cards with me. You never know when you need an emergency reading, when you just need to check in. So I get my cards out, and I said, "What would you like to know?" And he just sat there and looked at me. Now, I'm going to describe him, and then I made a little graphic because you know that I love to make you graphics because you love to see them, just like I did this. And for any of you who are out there watching that want to borrow my stuff, don't go down that road. So He's sitting there. Just a minute, this cat. Okay. So he's sitting there looking at me. And I'm starting to talk to him now. He smelled, but not the vampire smell. He smelled like dirt, like kind of wet dirt. He smelled like dirt. His clothes kind of looked a little on the vintage side. His skin was kind of ash, kind of a greeny ash color. And I tried not to pay attention. Now, there was really no electric in this place. There were candles. He lit a candle between he and I. And there was one on the side. And believe me, when I took one look at him, it was all I could do. I mean, it was kind of like, okay, Zelda, hold it together. Don't jump. Don't jump up and run because you just don't know. So we're sitting there and I lay out the cards. Now, you can see the card layout if you watch the video. I did do, and believe me, I keep those journals and I write down every card and what deck I use and everything else. Sometimes the decks I don't have anymore. But this was a time where I didn't read tarot. I could, but I didn't. Cartomancy was my game, and my grandma's cards were my jam. Those fortune-telling, gypsy-looking things, that was me. Pardon me. So we're sitting there, and I'm waiting for him. And I'm telling him of his past, which was not good. And of course, you don't have to be a psychic to know that there was a woman involved and she divorced him, but she was no ordinary woman. Pardon me. Give me a second. Here I am. Okay. She was no ordinary. I can't understand why my voice does that. I'm fine until I get here. I apologize to you so much. Okay. So it was no ordinary woman. She showed up as a witch. But quite frankly, she was kind of the Marie Laveau, which was more of a voodoo type, priestess type chickie. There was a lot of resentment and a lot of hurt, and there was something that had happened that we didn't get to. As I was talking to him, his little bony hand came out and tried to touch my cards. And I'm like, no, sir, if you don't mind, I don't want anybody to touch my cards. Those are for me only. I appreciate it. Thank you so much. Lo and behold, I'm sitting there, I'm talking, because, you know, I'm a talker, right? Pardon me. Oh, my gosh. Just a minute. Give me a second. I'm going to mute myself. Now that I got that out of the way, okay, and then this man is wanting to pick my sweater. Ugh. All right, so we're sitting there. All of a sudden, this little hand comes over and touches my hand. Now, the first thing that I thought of was that Foreigner song. You know where I'm going. You're as cold as ice. Thank you. That was Shaggy. You're as cold as ice. And I couldn't move. I couldn't speak. I don't know if it was just that I was so taken aback or if it was just the atmosphere. But I'm going to show you what this guy looked like. Here we are. Yeah, that was him. Pretty cute, isn't he? And you can see nothing has changed. Dark hair, glasses. The only thing that changes are the ears. So I'm sitting there and I want you to pay attention to the, oh, and thank you, darling. The earrings were a gift. They are moons. Thank you so much. And I also want to tell you that all of you are sending me these gifts. I don't know what it is. Pardon me. I'm getting desk mats that are just gorgeous. I'm getting all kinds of stuff and I don't know who to thank. So I'm just going to thank you now. And if you've sent me something, please know that it is from my heart. Thank you so much. So I'm sitting there and he's trying to pat my hand. Now, I don't know if he meant, because, you know, when I looked into his eyes, so as they were, there was a kindness there. So I knew that this was something that had been done. And listen, I know people from that area that will do this type of janky stuff. And I want you to know, thank you, Captain Harris. And I want you to know, I believe that this is, pardon me, I believe that this was done to him out of malice. Now, I want you to look at that mirror that is kind of over his shoulder. You're going to see an image in that mirror. While I was sitting there, I noticed the image. And I turned around and there was no one there. So you know how they say people will not reflect and people, well, this was a portal where I was being looked at and so was he. Now he asked me if I had magic within me. And at that time, now listen, at that time I was a little, you know, I wasn't as, I guess, educated. And in my eyes, I'll never be as educated as I want to be because I'm always studying and always looking. Pardon me. So I said, no, sir, I don't think that I have that. And I don't think so. And he says, then you must come with me. And I'm thinking, oh, here we go. It's either trick or treat night or I'm going to be alligator bait, right? Hello. So he's definitely a zombie, but he had still like his nose, the features of his nose and the features of everything. Okay, so now we're getting into the rest of the story from the video. So now, my darlings, we sat there and we finished up. Now, when he's patting my hand and holding my hand like this on top, he didn't try to, hello, love with a zombie. No, he was just patting me on the, whatever. Imagine that little bony hand. I can kind of laugh now. It wasn't funny then. And I'm sitting there trying to look because I can hear Herbie and my buds back there who, having a nice conversation. Having nice conversations. Having, just nice, all this. Nice conversations. And I couldn't get their attention because I wanted them to come and say, come on, Zell, you're coming with but no. They're there to look after me, but they're having a good old time. So he gets up And he's stands by the table, and he gets up and he says, okay. He's got this drone sounding voice, this low monotone voice that he speaks. He says, okay. Perhaps in another setting it might have been nice. He said, okay, you're going to follow me. Now listen, I was scared, but at the same time I was intrigued because I did not get that vibe. I did not get that vibe that he was there to cause me harm. I just didn't get it. So he stands up, and by this time, Herbie and everybody else are kind of like looking. And I stand up too. And I said, sir, lead the way. Yeah, run, right? Run. And if I wish I could replicate that New Orleans accent. I could listen to that all the time. How y'all are. So I don't know. Okay. So he looks at me and he looks at Herbie. Now this guy was pretty tall. He was about 6 foot. And he says, follow me. And my mind was just going, zippity-doo-dah, run. So I said, okay. Now listen, take a look at him. You don't think that one of those little bones could break easily? That's what I thought. I could take him. So now we go outside of this tavern, and he leads us down this way. And I will tell you this. I cannot remember how we went. I cannot remember how we went from that tavern into the bayou east, these bayou, and we got to destination. Now, check this out. When we walked up, this is what I saw. Let me move the chat off the screen. Here before you, my darlings, and I have no clue because I want to go back, are 4 generations, and there was 5, but I don't know where the 5th one was. This 4 generations, the one, as you're looking at the screen, the older one with the gray hair, she talked as though, yes, I do create all this. She talked as though, my darlings, that at that time, she had to be 125 because we actually went into her house. Now, do you see how small her house is? All of them. One was the daughter, one is the daughter's daughter, and one is the daughter's daughter. So there's 4, but there were 5, and I didn't get to see the 5th one because she was upstairs in that little dark room. You know, where I'm from, you call that a little dog house. When you're building houses, how many dog houses do you want on your, okay. Well, see that little dog house up there? She was up there. No lights, no anything. Now, when I went up there, she was smiling. And she motioned. And I'm looking at her be like, oh, we're going to have our everlasting thank you very much. And he just kept, yeah, it's okay. Go ahead. So we start walking, and I'm telling you, I was more afraid of drowning, falling off that little walkway, not knowing snakes, all kinds of things that could be happening in there. So I get up to the front, and the oldest one that was down in the bayou, the oldest one takes my hand and she says, "Welcome home." Welcome home. I don't have people from New Orleans. I'm not from here, but I'm like, okay, thanks. What are you going to do? Tick somebody off you don't know? And I'm looking around, trying to see if there's any evidence of any tourist. You know what I'm saying? Welcome home. So I said, thank you, ma'am. Now, she says to me, Zelda, now that's before I understood that I had a ladyship from my family, not from anybody else, but my family. Well, I'm sure I was shaking like a dog, poop and razor blades. So I went in there, and they were all, that little girl that is on the side there, she started coming over and showing me crafts that she made, like flowers and things that she weaved together. And she was so cute. They were all nice. So we sat there, and I said, if you'll excuse me, ma'ams, I mean no harm, and I do not need to be rude. I don't understand. Herbie went here, and so did my other lady friend. I said, I don't mean to be rude whatsoever. Why am I here? Why am I here? And so, give me a second, my darling. Give me a second. So she says, why am I? I said, why? Yeah, she said, who's she? I said, I don't understand why I'm here. If you don't mind telling me, and she said, we would love to know when you were here before who you met. Now, I want you to know something. I had never been there before. Not in this lifetime, not that I know of. And I said, ma'am, you may have me mistaken for someone else. I have never been here before. This is my first time. She said, oh no. No, not at all. We remember you being here to Psychic Fair. And just then, I realized that I went to a Psychic Fair in Baton Rouge. And I said, you mean the one in Baton Rouge? And she said, that's here. I said, are we in Baton Rouge right now? And she just looked at me. And I'm like, okay, so why am I here? She said, I want to tell you the story of this man. And lo and behold, now we're inside, lo and behold, through the front door comes Mr. Zombie Man, standing there looking around the room. And the oldest lady's daughter, the one that's standing beside her with the kind of blonde-looking hair, goes up to him, and she's got a cup. And you can tell there's some hot tea or something in that cup. She hands him this cup. And he acknowledges it, and he thanks her, and she smiles at him. It was obvious that they took pity on him. So he drinks it. He sits down. Pretty soon, you know, all he has to do now, he just gets up and he goes out again. Pardon me. Now, as he gets up and he goes out again, he turns around and takes a look at Herbie. And he smiles at Herbie. I'm thinking, oh God, here we go. So we're sitting in there, and she says, I want to start showing you some of these things. Well, she gets out this photo album because I asked Mr. Zombie how old he was, and he said he didn't remember. He didn't know. She gets out a photo album. I did not realize who I was looking at. Lo and behold, I'm looking at this gentleman whose name was Franklin. And I want you to know this. These photographs were from the late 1800s, and they were not digital type of stuff. We didn't have it back then. There was no AI, there was no anything. It was late 1800s. There's Franklin. And handsome. Ugh. Sorry, sir. I mean, I'm telling you, a very good-looking man. Had like this ascot on, a tie. He was in business, and in my cards I told him he was in business. But the lady that he met was in monkey business. She wanted something. Hold on a minute. Finding the sound effects. Honey, the sound effects on here are crickets. That's it. It's a bayou. It's crickets and water, and I'm sorry if it's scaring you. I'm sorry. So these pictures are him and her. Now, I want you to know, these pictures, this woman said don't look at her. Because her picture, her eyes will follow you. Now, you know, you kind of have to start getting to the point when you meet up with people like this that you just kind of like, am I here? What century am I in? Hello? Hello? So I didn't look at her. Herbie looked at her. And later on I said, oh my heck, did she look at you? And he said, that dumb thing. That's how he always, that dumb thing looked at me everywhere. If I went like this, she looked at me. And I said, what'd you look at her for? And he said, I just couldn't help myself. Right? So we're in there, and now comes the story. Dear sweet Franklin. Dear sweet Franklin. Happened to be the older ladies. Let me see if I can. He was a family member, and I'm trying to figure if he was a nephew of her brother, or he was related. He was closely related. This woman who Franklin married, again, she was of the witchy voodoo persuasion. This witchy voodoo persuasion kind of stuff, she was mad at him, and she, let me see if I can say this without, well, I can do my best. She buried him, and he was still breathing. Let's hope that suffices. And by the time these ladies found out, he was already like almost gone. But whatever it was that this witchy woman cast on him was something that if daylight hit him again, he would start to, what is that nice word? Hold on a minute. Decompose? Well, might as well say it, because that's what it is. So, these ladies got together. I mean, listen, you've not lived until you went down to New Orleans and you watched some of these people in action. You know, you expect fire coming from their fingertips, right? It wasn't like that, but you finally just like, oh my heck. So now they're telling me the story that they caught up with this witchy woman, and they've got her bound. Bound means she can't do anything anymore. I don't know where she was. But in retaliation, she went into the 5th family member who stays upstairs in that dark attic. I'm just sitting there thinking, I don't know if I need an airport barf bag. I don't know what I need at this point. So and I was like, how do I fit into this? How do I fit in to this story? And she said that I read cards for the third one, the dark-haired lady and Baton Rouge. And evidently I told her something. Evidently I told her something that impressed her in a good way, and they wanted me to come back. Because, see, they were not psychic readers. They were, they knew the vibration. They used the elements. I don't even know what to call them, because I don't know. They had a persuasion about them. We'll leave it at that. They could conjuring is not a good thing, but they could certainly make things happen. They were kind of like the Marie Laveau, only Marie Laveau, she didn't care. If somebody came to her and they wanted her to do something to, karma came early with Marie Laveau, with a lot of people, but not them. They knew the law of the, I'm careful about what I say. Thank you, my darling Julia. Thank you. Listen, the story doesn't end here. So I'm there, and they asked me, they said, we need you to read for Franklin. We need to know if she's got somebody else that's trying to take her place to come after him because He now feels like he's falling apart. Poor Franklin at this point. And I said in my other video, for any of you who have watched Halloween Town, do you know that young man who in Halloween Town is so cute, who's the zombie boy? He kind of reminded me of him. When I saw that with, Debbie Reynolds, I love that movie. I don't care if it's for kids. I love that movie. So, yes, the French Quarter is very dangerous. It was then, and that's where this tavern was. Hello, and there's Zelda right down in the mix. Hello. So now, I'm reading, and they clear this place. Listen, they were the most hospitable women. And she told me, if you need anything, here is our number. And I said, you have a phone? And she said, oh yes, you ring this and we'll get a message. Gave me her number. And I want you to know that I talked to them up until the year 2018. I'll get into that. So now I'm reading. They cleared this table. And by now I've kind of calmed down, right? You just kind of calm down. And then I'm thinking, oh my heck. What if I have to go to the bathroom, right? You start thinking these things. You start thinking these things. And I'm thinking, what do you do? Just step out and let her rip tater chip? I don't know. And I was hoping that I didn't have to go. They kept offering me tea and everything. And I'm thinking, oh my gosh, I would love some. But I can't drink a thing because heavens knows what will happen. So I'm reading cards. And I told him, it looked like they were trying to get, this person was trying to get, if she was a person, was trying to get someone to take her place. But she could not. Because these ladies kept a protective halo of whatever over poor Franklin. Because every now and then, poor Franklin would have to go and lay somewhere in the mud. I'm sorry. Because the man didn't eat. They only gave him this tea. I love this place. I love the French Quarter, but you won't catch me out in the French Quarter after 7 p.m. So poor Franklin. So the time had come where, it was time for us to say goodnight. They didn't want us to leave. And you could pretty much tell that they never had company. They loved the company. They loved the idea of just being there and being able to talk to someone. And the nice thing about it was I knew just enough I knew enough to know that I didn't know enough. But I knew just enough about things that they had and they did. And the same with me, that we could have a conversation. And it was a very interesting, and I wish that it were now, other than being scary and going in a dark tavern and following a zombie down the street, and not knowing where I am and ending up in the bayou. I wish I could rewind that clock and go back here and ask them so many things. Because listen, if anybody had an eye of newt or any of that sort of thing, it were these gals. And they passed it on. Now, you see, what I was going to tell you is, you see how small their house looks. When I walked in, Their house, this house didn't look any bigger than a double-car garage. A 2-car garage. But when you walked in, it was vast. And I've heard of places like this, but I never experienced it. And oh gosh, I wish I could do that with my house, right? Hello. But you walk in and there's this vast, because they all lived there. And when I was walking up, the first thing in my mind is thinking, where are the beds? Where are the beds? Where's everybody? Oh no. They each had their own room. They each had their own. Now, every now and then you could hear the fifth one upstairs walking around in her attic. She could not come down. She could not show herself. I don't know. Pardon me. So now we go out. Franklin is waiting at the end of this walkway. You see the end of the walkway. Dear Franklin is waiting for us. We follow him, and we're winding around all this, and the first thing I'm thinking of, can alligators run? Right? I mean, I'm thinking about that, but I knew that I didn't have to worry, because it just felt that way. I just kind of felt safe that way. So we walk out of there, and we walk, we go back, and it just felt like a lampshade was over. This is how it felt. It just felt like a lampshade was over my head, and that was it. Thank you so much for being on the True Oracle side. Thank you so much. And thanks to True Oracle for being here and hosting and collaborating with us. So now, my darlings, we get back into New Orleans proper. I'm so tired. And I was so hungry. Yes, no place open for a piece of peach pie anywhere. Coffee, yes. We got coffee. By this time, it was like 3 o'clock in the morning. Now, I was staying in one of these places in the French Quarter. I walk in, and I'm thinking, dear God in heaven, if this place is haunted, I do not care. Allow them. I will sleep. I don't care if it's haunted. Fine. I don't care. Herbie went out and found us cold cut sandwiches from somewhere. I have no idea. It could have been mystery meat. I was so hungry, it didn't matter what it was. And I knew, I risk because, see, I don't eat pork products at all, and I don't eat shellfish. At that time, I ate shellfish. I did not eat pork. And it was pork. And I thought, oh, heck, if I get sick, but I didn't care because I was that hungry. The next morning, we get up. We go back to Café du Monde. Of course, coffee and beignets. Eating my weight's worth of coffee and beignets. And now I'm saying to them, look, I'm here while in Rome. I need to eat some shellfish. Now then I ate it. After then I did not. So I ate the shellfish. Okay. They had a place there in Nolans. It was so fun. It was crab legs, all you could eat. And I think it was like $7.95, $8.95. Hello. I ate my weight's worth in those crab. There was not a crab safe right there. I ate it. I was so sick. I could not even walk. I'm not kidding, because I say I'm not used to eating that. So I was so sick, and so I said, I got to go back to the room. In the meantime, we're sitting there, and Herbie and this lady that was with Herbie and I are sitting there, and I said, what just happened? Now, Herbie, see, listen, sometimes in my life, I had issues. We all do. Things happen. You have to just do, you have to do what you need to do. But I'm going to tell you what. I love my life. I love this life that I've led because it is so phenomenal, and I don't know what I ever did to have these experiences, but thank you. Just keep bringing them on until one day I'm like Franklin and I'll be under the dirt. Anyway, so my darlings, we're sitting there, and I said, what just happened? Now, Herbie, the German Herbie, and back then my German was pristine because his lady friend was Germanic, spoke a lot of German, did not speak a lot of English, but we managed. Why is that? I always love that. We manage. You make room to manage when you're with someone like that. You just don't go, right? You manage. So we managed. We got along. We learned things about each other. We got along. So Herbie, I'll give you a little background about Herbie. Herbie was Canadian. Herbie was the brother of the jeweler that made all of the official, not all, a good portion of the official jewelry for the Queen of England. Why am I pointing over there? Like it's just, across the pond. So I had access to a lot of beautiful jewels. I had some, but see, I'm not one that wears a lot of gold stuff. Give me pearls. Thank you. I'll take them. But it was wonderful to know. Now, Herbie was kind of wasn't the black sheep, like me. We weren't really the black sheep. We were just different in our families, and they just did not know how to process it. So Herbie was a vegetarian, number one. No, this was long ago. Herbie was let's see, how old was he? 20 years old. 20 years older than me. He was so knowledgeable and just sat and took everything in. And he belonged to the Rosicrucian Society. And he's the one who taught me about Madame Blavatsky and the Theosophical Society. Oh, listen, let's just go down the proverbial bunny trail. So we're sitting here processing a lot of these things. And we're trying to figure out what the heck just happened. Why did we have this, it's this Obi-Wan Kenobi of not remembering where that, well, first of all, we probably would have tried to go back there. I would have. Yes, I wasn't the black sheep, but I had a little gray in me. When your grandfather is a pastor and your dad doesn't believe in stuff, it kind of makes it a little difficult. So we're in New Orleans, drinking, and when I say drinking and eating, I don't mean adult beverages. I mean coffee, tea, coffee. I love that chicory coffee. Coffee. So now we're sitting there because, the reality now is sinking in because we're having these conversations about life in general. And even back then, we talked about Tesla, time travel. We talked about a lot of things that happened. We talked about mainly Madame Blavatsky and the Theosophical Society. Look her up. The Rosicrucian Order. All these things that you don't really hear about. Back then, I had studied for my doctorate in metaphysical sciences. You don't hear about metaphysics anymore, do you? Well, it still exists. It still exists. And so that was a lot. And then finally, I went on to the ARE, Edgar Cayce Foundation, and studied there. So that was a lot of this conversation type stuff. There's Mrs. Marie. Hello, my darling, in the chat. Fate and Fortune, True Oracle. Thank you so much for everyone for being here. Thank you, thank you. And don't forget to check out their merch. The merch on that side of the aisle is absolutely the coolest. And don't forget those little links that we have in the description to go over and check out the channels. Doria Vex is posting some of the absolute most coolest things. She's getting used to it, and they are very good. So now I'm thinking, what direction do I want to go? Because I was thinking, where do I take these studies? How do I do this? Where do I go? We're having all these conversations. And Herbie says, did she give you that number? And I said, yeah, I have it right here. And he said, put that in your phone. Put that in your phone. Honey, I got these glasses on TikTok shop. On the Taki Tick. I got 4 pair for $12.99. And I sat here tonight and thought, which pair am I going to wear? Because they're all so adorable and so cute. Thank you. So, but see, I don't eat rabbit. I don't eat squirrel. I pretty much follow the biblical food laws. That's why I'm probably as healthy as I'm going to be getting, not on many medications, all that stuff. Anyway. So now we're having these conversations. It's time for dinner. So we just kept sitting there. Time for dinner. Now, instead of all that you could eat crab, it's all you could eat shrimp. And I'm going to tell you, I thought I was either going to float, swim, something around, but it tasted so good at that particular time. I'm not kidding. So while we're having this, Herbie says, do you have her number? And I said, yeah. And he goes, go call her. So I called her. She had told me to call her Mama. Okay. She answered the phone. Now remember, we did not live. We did not live in a time where we had caller ID, and especially back in the bayou. 2 rings, and she picks up the phone and says, yes, dearest Zelda. Stunned once again. I said, hello, Mama. I'm just checking in with you. I want to see how Franklin is doing. He is doing fine. How is the rest of the family? They are doing fine. I'm telling you, now listen, she had an infectious laugh. This big, what? I can't even do it here. I will blast your ear drums in the volume. Your speakers will no longer be the same. It was ha, 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 ha. You think my laugh is funny when I laugh? Put that on steroids, turn up the volume 10 times. She loved to laugh. Everything was funny. She loved to laugh. So I basically said, listen, tell everybody we said hello. Tell Franklin not to get too dirty. Ha, ha, ha. And that was it. So I hung up the phone. I went back and sat down with him, and I said, daggone, she answered the phone in 2 rings and said, hello, dear Zelda. What is this? Where am I? I just feel like I'm having a psychical breakdown. What the heck? I've never experienced this before. Hello. Yes, I love to laugh. It was more winds from the east. It was kind of that thing. Now it's dark. Now we decided to break for the evening. We talked to the point where I just didn't feel I could talk anymore. I was so tired and it drained me. So now we go. Pardon me, I have to plug my phone in. Do you remember how I tell you that every time I tell this person that I know and that I work with, that he knows that I go live Thursday night and Saturday night? But forever, he's wanting to text me. Now, we're in the hotel, and what do we hear? On everybody's door. And I'm thinking, dear God in heaven, what is this, a fire? The phones in the rooms start ringing. I pick up the phone and I said, yes. She says, ma'am, in this beautiful accent that I can't even replicate, ma'am, we are evacuating the hotel. And I said, why? And she said, we are evacuating the hotel. We're asking that you pack your belongings, come to the front desk. We will give you a refund. The police are here. And I'm thinking, dear God in heaven, what the heck is going on? The police are here, and we're asking that you come down immediately. So right away, I grabbed all my things, got dressed, probably looked frightful. It was the middle of the night. I ran out of my room. There's Herbie. There is this lady. And we're all looking at each other like, what the heck? So we go downstairs. And we get our money back. Herbie's talking, and I could always tell Herbie, because he would do this. When he was talking to somebody, it was serious. I don't know what that was. I don't know what it was, but that was Herbie. So he's standing there talking to somebody, and a cop, and somebody. I'm getting my money back thinking, oh God, here we are. Now it's early morning. We're going to have to eat again. I love Monterey. So now we go outside, and Herbie's got this look on his face. I said, what the heck is going on? He goes, let's go get a cup of coffee. Here we go again. We're about to eat. So now we sit down, and he said, look, someone lost their life in that hotel by the hands of someone else. Got their ticket to paradise, and that person is on the loose. Oh, lovely. Here we are. Yeah, scary. It was about 4 or 5 o'clock in the morning. We went to some diner. I don't even remember what it was. So we're sitting there, suitcases in tow. When I go somewhere, I like to pack light. I don't fly. I hate to fly. Because what if I get beside somebody that stinks? That's happened. I don't like it. And if I have to fly anyway, I have to sit at the front, even though it's the most danger. I have to sit away. I can't hack that energy that I'm feeling, that I'm stuck in this flying tube with somebody that may stink. It doesn't happen. I don't do it. If I can't drive, I don't go. So now we're there in this beautiful town. And let me remind you of where we are in the French Quarter, because now you see these wannabe vampire types walking around. And I say wannabe vampire type because most of it is for the tourists, because they get stopped and they get their picture taken, and people give them money and they do all this and all that, right? Right? Pardon me. So now you start seeing the wannabe vampires. Those are the ones that wear the contacts over their eyes that look white, kind of a light blue white type thing. And the first thing I'm thinking about is, wouldn't it be funny if Franklin was walking around? No, everybody would think that he was in costume. Wouldn't that be funny? Well, it wasn't really, but that's where my mind was in New Orleans. So we now eating once again. And the Dracula types are out. And by the way, we just passed an anniversary of the Dracula book that Bram Stoker, and by the way, Bram, what are you doing writing a vampire about Transylvania, about all this, and you did it while you were sitting in England? It's either talent or you cheated us, one of the two. Anyway, I'm a hard time. So, my darlings, so we're there, and I said, look, I don't know about you guys, but I pretty much have, look at where we are. Somebody has been unalived. We've met a zombie that I've read cards for. We met Anne Rice. I was around stinky vampires. We were around wannabe vampires. We met 4 women who I don't even know how to categorize them. We heard somebody about Franklin and heard some pictures. We didn't even know where we were. I ate 2 meals that would have choked a pig, and I'm ready to go home. Just take me home. I'm ready to go home. Well, we had gone down there because I wanted to go. Well, one of the reasons we were going to go was see Anne, but I wanted to get my tea leaves read or my cards read in this very famous tea room. It's still there. It's still open. And I wanted to go. And it was closed. And you usually need some type of reservation or something to get into them. Because the last time I looked on the website, it was like they were booked for a long time. So, beignets, chicory, that's right. So we went home, and the whole way home, I kept thinking, I wonder what's going on. I wonder what's going on down there. This energy that's down there, it's about like Savannah. I love Savannah, but it's about like that. Kind of different, but it's got that, there's things behind the things going on. We get home, and about a week, 10 days went by, and I thought, here's this number. I called again to the number. Hello, dear Zelda. The last time I talked with them was in 2018. I just moved to the condo that I'm in now. And at that time, Mama didn't answer the phone anymore. It was the next to that lady that answered the phone. And she was telling me all about how her mother and her mother's father was involved with everything. How do I want to say? Well, not everything, but this very important building. I think it was a courthouse or something that was built in the 1800s. And, so that made her, at least in 2018, at least 145, because her daughter was something like 95 to 100 years old. And then her daughter, and then the youngest daughter had a child. I don't know any of that. And then I lost her number. So if you're watching this, please call me. And then I lost her number. So I don't know. But I'm going to tell you, when you're around someone who has lived a long time, you can tell age is on them. And you know what? If you believe in Moses and Sarah and Abraham, and they lived 800-900 years. There's stuff that you can tell about a person when they live that long. They may not show it, but there are characteristics. Yes, I know. So that was my New Orleans. I read the cards for the zombie. And bless him, honestly, I don't even know why. I don't even know why I was there. I don't even remember reading cards in Baton Rouge. But I have read cards for so many people. Mrs. Marie, who owns True Oracle Psychic Line now that I've been with. Thank God I've got her. I think we sat down at one point and we tried to figure out at what point, how many readings that I've done in my lifetime. Now, I've been reading for 51 years. And when you go back and you start reading, because I do several readings a day, plus videos. Now, it has not always been that way. I'm not going to say that. When you're first starting out, and bottom line is that you have, you don't have a big clientele, but what really kicked it off for me was the Psychic Friends Network. And then it started growing from there. And then there were a couple years, there were times that I just kind of like walked away. I might have been in a relationship, and I might have been in a relationship. I may have been, something that somebody didn't believe. That's why I stayed single for so long. Because, you just can't give up what it is that you love for someone else. And, you have that piece of you inside that just says, I'm just not doing it. And you know what? I have other jobs. Right now, I help some people I don't have finance, but I help people arrange financial funding for different projects and for a company out of Canada. And as much as I love that, I can't give this up. I could not give it up. It would take something very severe for me to say. So my darling, somebody made Wendy, my darling. Well, guess what? I've been reading for 51 years, and I am 66. So somebody asked me the other day, And I'm going to show you because I don't have filters. Look at the eyes sunk. My eyes are, I'm older. Your eyes will sink a little bit. But if you can see, I have crepey. I'm a little crepey, but I don't have wrinkles. And I'm going to tell you why. Here's your little tip from Auntie Zelda. In 1990, because you've got, sometimes you have to have a, if you don't have a husband or a wife that works, you've got to make sure you can pay the bills. And sometimes, the psychic stuff in the day, it came in whatever. Now, here's the deal. I'm going to use this. I went to esthetician school at Roffler University. It's no longer there. It was in Jacksonville, Florida. I got my nail license and I got my esthetician license. The one thing that I learned is how your muscle grows around your eye, and it grows this way. So you can buy all the creams that you want and all the crepey that you want and all that, but it's not going to help you if you put it on the wrong way. You have to follow the way your muscle grows around your eye. So this is it, Now, I see all the times, and I cringe, the young girls that have this, lots of product. You don't need a lot of product. You just need enough, right? You know when it's enough. And they start doing this. Or they take that Dr. Malaxin stick and they start doing this. Now, if you're going to treat your eyes like windshield wipers, right? Because a lot of people take the brush and they do it this way. And especially 50 and over, you've got to start being careful. I dab. And when I start at one side and I get to the other. Now, when I go underneath, you start this side, and instead of going back over, you pick up your hand or whatever. I don't use a beauty blender. I don't like them. I use a brush or my fingertip. And you pat, lift, pat again, lift, because doing this constantly is going to push your skin and that muscle, and you're going to confuse the muscle growth. Now that's the Auntie Zelda way. It may or may not be right, but hello. That's the tip of the century. So there you go, my darlings. You don't need a lot. Am I sure I'm not a vampire? Well, I might be immortal, but I'm not a vampire. I don't have that type of thing within me. No, I don't. So, yeah, and you know what? You gotta, I know some people, oh my gosh, this. I use a gua sha here, and there you are. Thank you so much, my darling. Oh, thank you, Robert. Thank you. Mr. Lancome Man, there you go. I used to wear a lot of eye makeup. Listen, I love makeup. I love to wear it. If you ever see me in person, baby, I'm going to have the lashes on. I'm going to listen. I don't care. If something's wrong, I'll glue it on. If something ain't right, I'll tape it up. Right? That's the way it is. If it's out there, we're going to do it. That's the way it is. Thank you so much. This is a claw clip that is back here, and I thought I'm just going to throw it up today, and we are here. I love mascara, but I have worn lashes since I was 16 years old. And they are so easy for me to put on, but right now it's like, I wear glasses. There you go. So that is the bayou, my darlings. That is what's going on. Plus a little bonus, you got some beauty tips. Thank you so much. Thank you, Robert. Thank you. Thank you. Yes, the applying blush. For those of you who never see it, you want to see it again? I got some lipstick here. Okay. Look at this. Now this is, what is this? I think this is Revlon Raisin. Let me turn the light on. Hello, that's why I wear glasses. It's rum raisin. Now check this out. I love rum raisin. I wore this when it first came out, right? This is a good one right here. See, that's good. I want you to know this. Used to be I put on the lip liner first. You put your lipstick on first, my darlings, when you, now for me, you put it on first and then you do the lippy pencil. And you don't do, you do kind of a little smile. And that tidies things up just a bit, right? You go under here just a minute. Nice. And there you go. And you don't look like you're half crazy or walking the streets. Well, maybe I might want to. All right, so now here's what we do. Here's what we do. Here is your little tip for blush. I like to use the same color that I use on my lips. Who knew? Help, I'm haunted while I'm wearing makeup. Here we are. Now this is what I do. And look, I've got a bump here. Yes, I don't know where it's from. It doesn't hurt. Hello, I've had it for years. So now look at this. You take the lipstick, okay? You put it on there really good. Now here comes the magic. Get ready with me, I'm haunted. Don't you love that? Hello, here we are. Now, you're gonna put your little thumbs together and rubby-dub-dub. Rubby-dub-dub, the little thumb, so it looks like this. So you don't have that much on there. And now here's the makeup, because this part of your hand fits perfect on your little cheeks. So here we go. I hope I can do it here where I can see. Ready? Here we go. Now that's heavy, because I put a lot on there. I wanted you to see it. But if it comes on heavy, this is what you do. You just use your little fingers and you just pat it away. See? That's what you do. Wipe your little paws off and you're ready to, so look. If you need a little something more, you take the same color. I didn't do this tonight. I used brown. And I put it on my little finger. Here we go. Same run, raisin. You do this. You put a little bit on there. Okay. Put a little on there. And then you rub your little fingers together. Make sure it's, not clumpy. Make sure they're, and you take this and you go right in the crease. Just tap it on, easy. Don't have to be pulling and cranking. There you go. See, now isn't that pretty? That's just, So, ladies, all you need, and maybe gents, who knows? All you need is a lipstick. That's it. All you need is a lipstick. You travel, you feel like, you know how it is when you're traveling and you just feel like, oh, geez. Here we are. Takes, what did that take? 5 minutes maybe? Hello. Let's go. And see, your little paw fits right there in the cheek. I don't use bronzer. Listen, I grew up in the 1990s. No, in the 1970s. I'm from the 1900s. We didn't have all this bronzer and corrector, and so we had to do with what we had to do with. Didn't have any of the nose stuff and all this other blah. I just didn't have it. So you just learned. You just learned. And that was it. And it, yes, now be careful when you use lipstick, because you can't powder over it or it's going to look clumpy, and so be careful. If you use cream to cream, can't be anything like that. You can't. I have used a little bit of Wet n Wild setting spray if I'm doing something, but that's it. I will show you how to put lashes on. I will show you that. I promise. And it is so easy. I've been wanting to try some magnetic lashes, but it has to be a certain way. I cannot wear the glue underneath. I've tried it and about practically poked my eyeball out. So I can't do that. But yes, hello. You know what? Look at this, Cynthia. I am so glad you said that. Bless you. Because I was thinking the other day, there's a Mandela effect that they want to try to tell us. Magic mirror on the wall. Has anybody heard that? Well, that's not it. Because that is a German little nursery rhyme. And the German nursery rhyme goes, Spieglein, Spieglein on der Wand, wo ist die schönste Frau im Land? Mirror, mirror, Spieglein, Spieglein, on the Wand, on the wall, who is the schönste, schön, beautiful, who's the fairest of them all? Thank you for saying that it's me, Cynthia. Thank you so much. Thank you. Okay. So now I've got a few little things here that I want to thank everyone for. Give me a second. I think my son tried to say something. Who is it? No, it's not. Okay. Goodbye then. All right. Look at this, Shipwreck from Sea. Bless you, my darling, for becoming a YouTube member. Welcome. You're going to love it here. You're going to love it. Marisma, my darling, you've been a member for 4 months. We love having you. Look at this. Carrie is 7 months. Love having you, my darling. Bless you. Look at this. Jill, me. Okay, we're just going to say Jill because I don't want to mess that up. You became a member, and we're so grateful. Thank you very much. Look at this, my darling. Here's to New Orleans and Anne Rice. Rest in peace. Absolutely, Anne Rice. And Anne Rice was in love with Lestat. Anyway, thank you here, my darling. Is this JL? Yes, JL. JL, I appreciate you. I appreciate you too. Thank you. So kind. And Colleen, a member for 2 months. Thank you. Look at that little sweetheart. And look at that key. I love it. Thank you so much for the little gifts and for all being here. Now, let me check some things out. How do I know all these languages? Well, I grew up in kind of a multilingual family, kind of. And my great-grandmother spoke a lot of broken German. Like she would say, do you want some Brotli? Brotli was the baby word for saying Brötchen, which is bread. So those are the things that, and then Herbie when I met Herbie and we started traveling and doing psychic circuits and everything else, the German started coming back to me because my family is German, but we never we spoke it. We never really spoke. Then there was Italian. Then there was this. So it was, I was aware of it. I knew of it. And look at this fuzzy in the corners there. I don't like that. But anyway, it is what it is. So, and of course, being around Vale Keep, now it's the French, but when I started singing opera a lot, of course, those are all in foreign languages. It's funny, I always said I can sing Italian and French, and I could speak German, but I can't sing the German. Don't ask me why. Anyway, there we are. So, and then let me see what else. Patricia A. Victor. What does a vampire? Okay, hold on. I need to fix this effect here. See in the corners how it's starting to get fuzzy? I'll tell you why. The sun is going down in, oops, the sun is going down. Oh, hello. Fade out. The sun is going down and the lighting is changing. Ah, there. We're pretty good. We're going to leave it. Okay. What does a vampire smell like? Think of meat that has sat, oh, it doesn't look good. Let me fix this. Think of meat that has set out for a couple of days, but more than a couple of days, more like a couple of years. That and then think of it. See, I can hardly say it here. But just know it's a rotted smell. It's a rotted smell. Hi, Kimberly, my darling. Oh, now listen, I want to thank you so much for the jewels and everything. I'm on StreamYard. You don't see those. I don't have dual monitors so I can see the channels and everything, and I don't see them. But bless you, my darling. And Barbara sent me a gift on Venmo. Let me check again. Thank you, thank you, thank you so much for your generosity. I appreciate it so much. Thank you. And then, let me see. Oh, look at this. Member for 10. Hi there, Where Debbie, my darling. Hi. Always wanted to learn German, Hungarian, and Polish. The one thing that is very guttural. It is very guttural, and I'm learning that. Another exciting thing is for this channel, the members only offsite is almost ready. Captain Jerry has seen a little bit of it. I'm building it. I want it perfect before we launch it. So just so you know. Then the one for Vale Keep is going to be right behind it. Pardon me, going to be right behind it. And then for True Oracle as well. Then, let's see, what else is happening? Tomorrow night, I think I'm going to be ready to have a live stream for Vale Keep. Come on over. We're almost done. I'm almost done editing his book, Lord Greggor's book. That's exciting. Saturday night, Captain Jerry knows this and nobody else knows it. Captain Jerry, that little stinker, she's got the in. I have made something. Saturday night, we're going to go back to Nancy Guthrie's house. This time, it's going to be different. You don't want to miss it. because it's going to be like, whoa. Took me a little bit to do this, to make this. But yeah, there we are. There we go. Let me see. Oh my goodness. Yes, what an accomplishment. Lord Greggor, I think he's up to 7 languages or something, even Hebrew. Okay, let if we can just talk in one, but his English is good. It's getting better, but it's still like, it depends on how many people he's hanging around with, that he's speaking German, and then when he comes back to me, I can really, really tell it. Yeah. See, and I can read German better than I can, and I can't hardly write it at all, but it's one of those things. Hello, I'm just here. Let's just stir the pot. If we're going to eat, we can all speak. That's how it works. Music, eating, everyone can communicate. Look at this. Aunt BB, you've done it again. My darling has gifted 20 Lady Zelda Kelly memberships, and you're so sweet and kind. Always. Thank you. Thank you so much. I support both channels. I don't know what that is. It depends on where you're trying to send it from. If you're trying to send it from an iPhone, that is a problem. iPhones tend to not connect very well. Remember, this is a Google product, Android product, and it works a lot better with a Google YouTube, but I'm sorry. I've heard a lot of people say that, but thank you for being here. I appreciate you being here and your support. Thank you so much. Okay. Thank you, my darling Wolf Clan. Thank you. Thank you. You guys are awesome. I had another story that I wanted to tell tonight, but I'm going to tell it next time because it's a good one. You don't want to miss it. We had a lot to talk about tonight, and get ready with me. I'm haunted. That was very important. All right, so here we are. And for those, welcome to those who were gifted these memberships. Thank you so much. Tell Ian I said hi. Hope all is well with his gaming. I will do that. Thank you so much. Some of you were able to come into Twitch last night and watch him as they were just trying a new game, and we're trying to get internet settings. We've had some issues with internet. Go figure. I actually bought a new rotor. I bought a new rotor that I'm going to be using myself, and then we got another modem, but these things are so tweaky and twingy. Hello. Yeah, Colleen, garbage is what the vampire smell. That's absolutely. Thank you, Kelly. Bless you. Look at that. Little sweetheart. Is that a Maine Coon? I love those. No more kitties for me, though. No more kitties. Darlene, absolutely. It brings out your beautiful features, and you look so much younger. Oh, it's 7:39 in Texas. Just tuning. Aw. Well, thank you so much for the kind. I wear it up like this all the time, so you never know. I am German and only know swear words, my mom would say, and took Spanish in school. And I wish, you know what? I know more bad words in German than you could shake a stick at. Why is that? We all do it. If I have to say a bad word, if I'm in front of a certain someone who is fluent in German, who lives in Vale Keep, if I have to explain to him something that seems a little, I have to do it in German. I get too embarrassed. And if I tell it in English, oh my heck, what the heck? I've always been that way. The earrings were gifted to me at one time. I got 3 pairs though. I had them on my Amazon gift shop. They are just adorable. They're each one of them are different, but it's 2 little moons, and someone gifted me. Thank you. Thank you, thank you. All right. Let me see. Captain Jerry is talking about what I made for Saturday night. You got to be here. Saturday, 7 p.m. Eastern, that's New York time. We're going back to Nancy's. We're going to try to find out what's up. So, there we go, my darling. Thank you, Kimberly. How are you, my darling? Let's see. Looking forward. Who needs Netflix when you've got us? Right? Who needs that? Who needs all this? The Discovery Channel, all these things. Honestly, I've got to tell you, I always feel so blessed because I love bringing you these stories. I'm serious. I love the stories. I love, sometimes at the time when I experience these things, I think, oh, wow, right? But I experienced something for 2 days after I visited Nancy Guthrie's house. I'm going to tell you about that too. That was a problem, but it's been taken care of. You have no problem. Yeah, sometimes an iPhone, sometimes I don't know. I can't explain it. I can't explain it. I wish I could. Okay, I want to go through all the messages. 5:45 in Arizona. Wendy, oh my goodness. It is 3 hours behind us. Love your hair like that. Thank you. I might just keep wearing it like this because summer's coming. Aunt BB, Lady Zelda. I'm waiting for JFK to give me the high sign that we can go. And Kev's in here. Bless you, my darling. Auf Wiedersehen and Danke. I have to get going. Auf Wiedersehen. Dankeschön, bitteschön, auf Wiedersehen. I don't know. Because I know they're having a lot of other, the content for that young girl and everything. But I'm ready at a moment's notice. I'll go. Now, I just want to let you all know. I'm still going to try to go to Canton, Massachusetts. I'm still going to try to visit. I don't know if I can. 34 Fairview Road. A friend of the channel has offered graciously to ask for us to be there, to literally get in, and would, now I'm going to tell you, Kev is in the chat. Yay! Hi, Kev. Hello, my darlings. Kev is in the house. Hi. Sometimes the chat goes by so fast, I don't get to see. But thank you for being here. Thank you. But as soon as I will be there when, and I'm going to tell you one thing right now. I just want you to know, I don't charge. I won't charge anybody. Don't do it. I don't charge. And I'll tell you why. In my experience in my life, my grandmother didn't charge for that. I don't charge. If a family, and see, I don't work for law enforcement. I'll work for families. If a family wants to pay me something, I will still not want to take it. But sometimes they ask me to take my expenses. And sometimes I will. It just depends. And if I have to travel or whatever the case, okay, that's fair. But I don't charge. I don't charge. I don't have to. I'll tell you why. Because I am blessed enough that if I do this for somebody else pays it forward. That's how it works. I don't gatekeep. If I'm talented, sometimes I can pick things up and sometimes I can't. I'm not always right. That's just the way it is. And if I start thinking that I'm a big shot, then there's a problem. So in my experience, and you may have seen, there was a young lady that came into the chat and said hello, and that I helped her family a few years ago in Tennessee, and that they insist, I know who they are, they insisted that they give me expenses. And you know, sometimes if you don't take that, it hurts their feelings because they want to give. Okay, but I'm not going to charge anybody. I don't, I'm not going to charge. Because that can come back. Because guess what? I am so blessed that I have more work than I could ever shake a stick at. And you know what? You pay it forward. And there are many, many times, there are many, many times when somebody out of the blue will say, oh, you know what, here's a little bit, or here's this, or here's that, or here's that. And you know what? So why should I have to charge? I don't have to. And that's my rule of thumb. But I just want to let you know that, hello, my darlings. I just want to let you know that when we do go to Massachusetts, I definitely am going to stop and see the gentlemen at JFK live show, Kevy Kev, Jay Brilliant, and JFK. We're definitely, Captain Harris is going to go with me, and we're just definitely going to go. There is a lady who happens to be an attorney who will ask to get me into 34 Fairview. Now, I'm also going to tell you, I don't get into the drama and to the bullying and anything else, and I won't do it. Here's why. If she has access and she can help me, the way I look at it is, we want justice for John O'Keefe. We want justice for Eddie, but we especially want justice for Janet Downing. Why would anybody get so mad at that? Could be because they're off a rocker. I don't know. But I just want to kind of warn you ahead of time, because I love our community here. And it's very important for me to just say, look, we are here together. We stick together like glue. And we got each other's back, right? We got each other's back. And if somebody goes rogue and they start wanting people to hate other people or bully other people or make fun of them or fat shame or whatever the case, shame on you, and you will not be here. Because I love that. I love that you are here and we are all like-minded and we want the same good things for everyone. I don't care what anybody's done. I don't care what anybody talks about. I don't care if anybody has a past. And I'm just going to say, sometimes witches are better than Christians as far as I'm concerned. And sometimes the best people that I've ever met in my whole life are felons. Sometimes it's those who have their little nose up in the air so far that you think that if it rains, they're going to drown. I just want you to be prepared, because we're going to be doing some things with this channel, and we're going to do it for the good of the people. I could care less. I mean, I don't do this, you know. I don't do this for, oh, me, hello, it's me, oh, look at me, whatever, whatever. I don't need that. I have enough attention. I don't need it. Jesus died next to criminals. That's right. Exactly. Exactly. And you know what? I got to tell you, sometimes, and this is going to sound funny, not always, but sometimes you can trust a felon more than you can anyone else. You know why? Because they know if they do it again, they're going to go away for a lot longer and there's going to be a bigger trouble. And no, who wants that? Who wants that? I am not qualified to look at anyone's past and judge. Judge ye not, lest ye be judged, right? We don't do that. And I especially love that you don't do this here. I will not talk about other people here. And you know what? I won't talk about you either. This is a safe place. And I want you to know that. And I want you to feel that. That's why you're here. We are here to be entertained. You know why? I love doing this just as much as you love hearing it. So why not? Why not? We're here to have fun. That's why you watch YouTube. That's why you're here. There you go. That's okay. So yeah, we don't do that in this. That's right. This is, hi there. Sacriture. Oh, I love that. This is the first time I caught you live. Well, thank you. I'm so glad you're here. These people are wonderful that are here. And you know what? I don't look for numbers. I don't even look for subs. I'd love to have you as a subscriber. I'd love to have you view my content. But this is what I do, and I have to share it before I'm like Franklin and I'm under the ground. So there you go. John O'Keefe Spirit will love to connect with you at Fairview. I can see him thinking, well, the energy of John O'Keefe has definitely been around. And he has definitely shown me things ever since Christmas 2 years ago. And if you go back and look at my readings on the Karen Reed case and the, Higgy Baby and all these people, pardon me. Higgy Baby and all that. I'm just going to say this as a blanket. I'm going to say this blanket statement. There were many times in those readings that I saw people that were involved with John would be haunted. Now, when I say haunted, does that mean by a ghost? Not all the time. Does that mean by a thought process? Pretty much. Does that mean that you could be so affected that your looks change? Definitely. Watch. Be watchmen. Just watch. That's how you can tell. That's how you can tell. Pardon me. I'm so glad Lady Zelda was able to find your cat for you, and I'm so grateful you were able to trust her. Thank you so much. I'm glad I was able to help find her too. It's so funny because Aunt BB let me know that there was a problem, and I immediately saw where she was and the house she was at. Sometimes it happens, sometimes it doesn't. Cat Granny, the Nancy Guthrie case brought me here to you, and here I'm staying. Well, bless you. I'm so happy that you did that. Thank you. I started watching for Nancy, but I have watched every video on every platform. I have subscribed to everything, and I am learning Cartomancy. How did I say that? Cartomancy with Zelda's Guide. Thank you. Bless you. Thank you. Thank you. Someone asked me if I worked on cold cases. Yes. sometimes, actually, when you don't know the whodunits, when you don't know who done it, and you're still trying to guess and you're still trying to figure it out, to me, technically, as far as law now I'm not law enforcement, I'm not a lawyer, any of that, but technically, as far as I'm concerned, it feels like a cold case. And the reason is because when you see, just like with Nancy Guthrie, when you see law enforcement, there were a lot of things. I want to invite you. I was very impressed with the interview room, and I have seen these people a couple of times. Captain Harris got me watching them, and they are amazing. But I was a little stunned the other night when they had their live stream, because they talked about everything that I have talked about with you in videos over the last few weeks, as in social network targeting, as in the difference between a criminal case and a kidnapping, and which way is law enforcement supposed to go. All those things. Not that I'm right. I'm not, listen, I'm not, it's whatever, right? But I want you to trust me to understand that many, many times I am right. Many times I've not gotten it right. This one for Nancy Guthrie, I'm pretty sure I'm right up there. And there's some problems and some things that have made me extremely suspicious. We'll talk about that Saturday night. Let me see. Thank you, Diane. Let me see. Cindy, are you still working on your book to teach what you do? Yes. How to be a forensic tarot investigator. And I'm adding a few little things, because telling you how to go find, for me, I like to know some facts before I start reading. And I'll tell you why. Thought processes from a lot of people, and especially in this Nancy Guthrie case, I mean, I've seen it all. I think all except for aliens dropping down, and maybe they may have said that too. But sometimes those will throw off a reading when you don't want it, and I'm very careful of who I watch and when. Brian Enton, I trust him. Ashley Banfield, I trust her. But I'm very careful. And I like to read on the facts. What happens now? What is this fact? And then you just start branching out from there. So yeah, I'm doing that. Thank you so much. Let me say. They do, Chloe. They work as protection. I don't use crystals or anything like that for protection. I use iron. I'm looking for an iron pin again. I will find one. I think I know where one is. I have the key from Vale Keep. And if I have to wear that hanging around my neck, you know. If you know, you know. All right, so let me go here. Thank you so much, you guys are so sweet. You guys are so nice, gosh. I've got the books coming out are my story about missing people, and that is called Seeing Crime, just like this channel, Seeing Crime. Then there's going to be the forensic one. Then there's the Vale Keep one with Lord Greggor. Then there is my cookbook, Cooking from the Hearth. because there's a lot of cookbooks in Vale Keep we've been seeing. There's a lot of books there. I've got 110 right now that I've put on a digital. And when you go into Vale Keep, you can, when you go into Vale Keep and on the website in the members only, you can click on a shelf and you can take down a book and the pages will actually flip. It's not going to be just like a chintzy PDF. I don't want that because Vale Keep isn't chintzy. So the book will do this and fold. There you go. All right, my darlings, I think it's that time. I love it, and I love that you're here. Thank you so much for being here and the bayou with me. This was a lot of fun. This is a different one. You know, I'm used to telling a lot of the stories about the South and about Run. One of these days, we may have to talk about Run again. So there we go. Hold on a minute. What were the repercussions you had to deal with from Nancy? I'm not sure what you're really talking about, my darling Suzanne. I had a lot of pushbacks, and I had a lot of tarot readers come in and try to cause me trouble. Other than that, had a few calls, but they were positive, so I don't know. So there we go, my darlings. So listen, thank you so much for being here. I love you all. Hang out for the ending, okay? And then you can all say goodbye to each other. That's how we work here, all right? So I don't know if I'm going to be live tomorrow night because I'm working on this series for Lord Greggor, and if I get it completed, I will post that instead. So hang tough. We will know, okay? And then Saturday night, got to be here 7 p.m. 7 p.m. If you want a list of the channels, check it out in the description of both True Oracle and here. You can subscribe to those channels. And I'm working on content. I've changed how some of this is going as far as my images and everything else. I've changed that. I want to make them more cinematic. Do you enjoy them more? And look, if the tubes of you want to be right up there with Netflix, who am I to say that I'm not jumping on that? Okay, so that's what we're doing. So it's taken me a little longer, but I'm getting there. Thank you so much, darlings, for being here, and I'll see you again very soon. You be well. Bye for now. And so the lantern fades, but the shadows remain. This story may end here, or perhaps it's only just begun. See you soon.